1,000 meters, and they're sprinting on their way. Hondo made a good beginning. Krishni's Jet is right there. Ruby Spirit, Crossfire, Vincent, Touch of Light. There's only 2.5 lengths separating this field. Left-hand side, Hondo. Ruby Spirit is right there, the orange cap. Crossfire, black cap, blue body. Vincent toward the outside, Touch of Light, and Krishni's Jet. Coming inside the 400-meter marker, Hondo's on the left. Ruby Spirit now starts to move in. Crossfire feels the stick to the outside, then comes Vincent. Coming to the 300-meter marker, Hondo the one to get to. Ruby Spirit, Krishni's Jet's now going to look for a gap between runners running on. Hondo still in front, Krishni's Jet the danger. Ruby Spirit's on the outside. Hondo by 3 parts of a length from Krishni's Jet. Ruby Spirit as they come down to the line. Hondo won it. Ruby Spirit second, Krishni's Jet, and then came Vincent. As they went past the post there, Hondo from Ruby Spirit, Krishni's Jet's close up, and Vincent. The head on replay, left hand side, Hondo in the red silks, Krishni's Jet's behind. On the right hand side is Ruby Spirit with the orange cap, and other runners have come under fire with 150 to go. But this is number 2, the son of El McDom from the Garth Puller stable. For Mr. Smith, Anton Marcus, running of the first, back to the studio.
Well, some hugs and kisses going on here in the number 1 box. And Mrs. Ann Upton, she very seldom misses a meeting in Scottsville, and really nice to have her on course to leading a winner for a good friend, Mr. Robert Smith. Of course, we will spare a thought for the late Lenny Taylor, who used to train this horse, and I'm sure Garth will touch on that as well, as number 2 Hondo comes to break his maiden at the 18th time. But Garth's only had this horse for 2 runs now, Garth, and a job well done.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, he came to me, Maria, Lenny's wife said to me, I must come fetch it. And he's progressed nicely. He's done well. He tries. He's a nervous type of horse. Obviously he's enjoyed the change onto the training tracks other than the farm. He's come on a little bit. He won a nice race today. It was a small field but competitive. I must say I thought my other horse might have beaten him, especially if there was a bit of cut in the ground. But I think Krishni's Jet probably might need 1,200 now. But it was a close race, and Anton rode a good race, thanks to him. Thanks to Mr. Smith. And I must say thanks to my team and to Hollywood for their help. And I've got Mrs. Upton here. She's a good friend of Robert Smith's, and she watches with interest.
What about the team? You know, she's just chatting to us off air. You've rode many winners for her?
Yes, I've ridden for Rob Smith. In fact, I rode the mother of one of the horses that I've got for him, and so it shows you how old the mare is. And he has a story always that I told him that if he hadn't given me instructions on my last ride for him, I would have won. So he's never forgotten that. But yes, and I rode winners for Miss Upton as well. Lots of them.
Okay, you did your bit for USO, but for the guys that missed the show, your horses later on?
I've got one horse later on, also very competitive last race. First run at Scottsville, and first decent run on the first time over ground on the grass. But I think he's competitive. I think he'll be there.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Lovely. Let's get the legendary Mrs. Ann Upton. And I wanted to firstly tell a story for you guys on course or watching Teletrack and you haven't been to Scottsville. There's a beautiful statue of a white horse here in the gazebo. And Mrs. Upton, just try to tell that story briefly. I mean, that horse.
Well, Furious was trained here, and he was one of South Africa's best. And Peter White from Johannesburg kindly built the gazebo for me to be able to take my patrons to have a drink after we'd won.
Yes.
So it's worked out very nicely. And thank you to Garth for asking me to lead the horse in. I've known Robert Smith for many, many years. And Garth, of course, rode a lot of winners for me and rode winners for Robert Smith.
Yes.
So we're very happy to have him training. And the horse looked splendid today. He really looked good. And good luck to the stable.
Whilst you're not involved in the game in the way that you used to, I really love it when I bump into you every time it's at Scottsville. You still have a passion and an undying love for the game.
Racing will never die. It'll go with me when I go. You know, racing is a wonderful lever for you in life.
Yes.
You can't win always. And fortunately, my parents, they'd had horses, so they knew for as many winners that you'll have your disappointments as well.
Yes.
So you've got to learn to ride the tide. And I thank God for every day I spent training racehorses.
Well, certainly times have changed from where you were training to now with the technology and everything else. But Mrs. Upton, please give our best to Mr. Smith as well. And I wish you well. Always a pleasure chatting to you, whether it's on or off air.
Thank you, Dees. I will tell Robert, and I'm sure he's watching. If he's not watching, I'll grass at him for you.
Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, Dees.
Nice, nice, nice. Mrs. Upton, every time she tells me that story about the gazebo, it really touches a soft spot because it's a wonderful story. Of course, Mr. Peter White, the gentleman who built that as well. 2, 4, 1, and 6. That's the way they cross the line here. Race number 1. Up next will be the start of the place accumulator, 13:25. 25 past 1 will be the first leg of the PA.